Hello beautiful friends, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be working on this beautiful bed that I have redressed and gotten ready for our fall planting. So we're going to go on ahead and direct sow some seeds, and I'm going to show you everything that I'm going to be planting in this bed, just to kind of give you a little taste of what is possible to grow very easily, very well in, well, let's see, a 2.5 by 3 foot bed. Yeah, so let's go on ahead and get started with what is possible to grow in a small space for fall. Okay friends, so one of the main things that I'm going to be planting in this space is going to be some sweet shelling peas. So this is one of those crops that I am still kind of working out, I guess you could say. I'm really still experimenting with the best time, the best season in which to get a significant amount of sweet shelling peas to put into the freezer. So if you are a little bit like me and you have a crop that's giving you difficulty, don't sweat it. You're not alone. All small space gardeners go through this. Just kind of keep working at it. Keep giving yourself the space to learn and grow and adapt, because it may just be that you need to grow it in a different season than what is commonly grown. And that's basically what I'm going to be doing here today. Okay, so as I had mentioned, I've already gone on ahead and I have prepped this bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to put a sweet shelling pea on each of these individual poles, like so. Line them out. This just makes trellising them a little bit easier. And then I'm going to just shove them down into the dirt with my finger. I've already top dressed this bed as I had mentioned, so really I don't have to push very hard to get them to go down, and we already have our first crop in, and this crop is going to grow up the trellis here. So I want to be very conscious about using all of the space, and that includes the vertical space. So since I have vertical space, I might as well take advantage of it and grow something that I am going to enjoy, number one. Number two, something that is easy to store. And number three, it's gonna look really pretty. Since we've cleared off all of the vines that have been on here from the summer, they're looking a little bare. So it's just gonna provide a nice little bit of interest going into the fall and winter months. Let's go on ahead and move on to our next crop. All right, so my next crop here is going to be a very simple one, and it's just going to be some good old-fashioned turnips. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to just load this bed up with a bunch of turnips. Now you have options when you are planting turnips. You can put them all in a row if you want to and direct sow them, and then come in and thin them out when they start to pop up, and the ones that look weak, you just pull them out. I personally seem to struggle when I do that. Another method that some people do is they will just kind of cluster them, because when they grow and bulb out, they basically push each other apart down below, is the theory. I have had minimal luck with that as well. I can't exactly say that it's because of my soil, because my soil is not, you know, real hard or compact, so I don't know what it is about my soil that it doesn't do that, but my soil doesn't allow for that very well. Or maybe it's just the type of turnip that I'm using. That could also have a lot of play on how they develop. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these guys in rows, and I'm just going to thick sow them. Another thing that you can do is you can just broadcast it all across the top here, and then just kind of take your hand and scratch it in really good. and they'll come up that way too. So if you don't mind the messy gardener thing, go on ahead and do that. They'll come up just fine. You'll have to thin exactly like the rose, which is what I'm going to be doing. I do struggle with that sometimes because I don't like to pull plants. If it has a hope of growing, I always operate on the MO that it's going to grow. But I'm going to do the hard thing, and I'm going to go on ahead and do them in rows and then thin them out this year. But you do whatever method works best for you as a gardener. There's really no right or wrong here. It's just what you find works for you best in your space. That's really all it boils down to. So don't overcomplicate it. Just go on ahead and get things planted. And we don't have to have these real deep. I have seen people who kind of just barely make an indent in the soil, and then they will lay like a wood board over the top of their planting lines, because these seeds are not real big, so they don't need a whole lot of planting depth, I guess you could say. So as far as that goes, you can go on ahead and give that a try and see if that works out, if you have better germination results. That's not a technique that I personally have tried. I don't exactly have a lot of wood boards laying around, but if you do have some extra wood boards laying around, you can go on ahead and try it. Probably wouldn't want to use like a pressure treated because they do have chemicals on them, so that might be a limitation there, but obviously do your due diligence. Okay, looks like I'm finishing off some seeds here, so that's great. Turnips are one of my favorite things to grow for fall and winter. They're very, very cold hardy, and whatever doesn't seem to germinate in the fall for me tends to come up in the spring. So that's a side bonus. So the next thing I'm going to be putting in here is some radishes. Now, if you've been a follower on the channel for a while, you will know that radishes are some of my favorite things to plant out. Not only are they super duper delicious with a steak after you've roasted them in an oven, but they are also really good for preventing pests as well as diseases in your raised beds, and in ground and in containers. Really, there's really no place that they are not good. So what I am going to do, I left myself some space down here at the end. And what I usually do is I plan on either the ends or the corners to be allotted to things like radishes, but you can also plant your garlic here. So this is a perfect time of year to be planting garlic as well. So if you don't care for radishes, but you love garlic, go on ahead and get some garlic going. And you can definitely put them in the ends of your beds, and you're going to get the same benefits of pest and disease resistance. And honestly, you're going to get a crop, so why not? You might as well go on ahead and get a 3-for-1, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm just making a row with my fingers, and then I'm going to just sprinkle all the seeds all the way down. They're not really big seeds as far as it goes. So very much the same principle as what I did with our turnips just a minute ago. I'm just barely scratching the surface to give them just kind of like a wedge where I can know their general locale, so to speak. So we're going to do that. And then all I do is I just scratch a little bit of soil over the top of them. They don't need a whole lot of depth. And there it is. Okay. So we now technically in this bed have 4 different things growing. I have walking onions in the corner. I now have radishes over here. I have sweet shelling peas over here on the trellis. And then I have turnips. And I'm going to have a lot of turnips actually in this bed. So really the amount of things that you can grow very, very easily and very inexpensively in the fall, in a raised bed, or even in a small plot in the ground in a small space is quite significant. So please, 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 if you are a beginner gardener or if you are new to gardening in a small space, don't underestimate the amount of food that you can grow in that small space. Now, that being said, I'm going to go on ahead and I am going to link a video at the end of this video showing you what our sweet potato harvests look like so that you can see exactly how much food you can make in your small space garden, or grow on in your small space garden, as it were. And don't forget to check out the link below in the description box for my online small space gardening course. It is called the Bountiful Garden Blueprint. If you want to know how to grow a lot of food in a really small space, this e-course is for you. So go on ahead and check that out in the description box below. And as always, keep it simple, natural, and essential, and we'll see you on the next video, guys. Bye.